to Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey and I are going to talk about New Year's resolutions, so to speak, and see what happens with that. Because, you know, we have loads of room to improve, Aubrey. That's what we do. We have loads of room for improvement. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Aubrey, how are you doing today? Have you recovered from Christmas?
Yeah, actually, okay. My Christmas, knock on wood, dear listeners, I'm knocking on my own head in case you're wondering. It was event free. It was drama free. Everyone was nice. Everyone was happy. No one cried. It was great. It was fantastic.
I mean, if that's the standard that you have for a good Christmas, that's not really good, because like no crying usually shouldn't be happening on Christmas. That's like, people getting gifts, being happy. So like that worries me a little, Aubrey.
You would think, Todd, but so many ADHD babies in one room, and
Fair enough.
things go crazy.
Yeah,
how was your Christmas?
It was good. I mean, so like just like with Thanksgiving, like we have a lot of people at our house. So it's, I have 3 kids. So it's me, my wife, our 3. And then we adopted my nephew. So he comes over with his sister. I affectionately refer to myself as Uncle Daddy when I'm around them because, we adopted them and they're our niece and nephew. So I'm Uncle Daddy, which really bugs my niece quite a bit, which is funny. So, but they came over. And then my niece brought a friend of hers, kind of like her emotional support human, because she's my nephew, my niece, and myself are all military veterans, so we kind of need, we have our quirks being vets.
Yeah.
So she brought her emotional support human with her, and then my mom, my sister brought her emotional support human as well. So then you add in a couple other people that came over as well. So we just had like tons of people.
Yeah, I lost count.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people you had over, but that was a lot.
It's a lot
because my Christmas was just. It's Talia's family, but it's Talia's sister and her husband, her cousin and her wife, her parents, the 4 of us. Yeah, that was it. I'm already done. Yeah. I'm already done with my list, Todd. that was the whole thing.
Right. And then it turns into like basically like, because I'm the type of neighbor that sits outside and watches my kids play all day. So the kids got my youngest daughter got a new. And then my brother-in-law was over again and he brought his 3 dogs down because he stays up in my cabin up in northern Arizona. So he came down and then he got his son who lives down here. Yeah, there was even more people added. Anyway, so we were outside and we're playing outside and probably had like in the neighborhood of like 8 people just kind of hanging out outside, smoking cigars or cigarettes or whatever people are smoking, and hanging out, watching the kids play and stuff like that. And that was my routine pretty much all week, was watching my daughter play, because she just learned to ride her bike finally. And so Santa brought her a new bike, and that has led to her being outside riding her bike at least 4 hours a day. So I've been sitting outside with her while she rides her bike, and then all the
4
neighborhood
hours
kids,
a day.
yeah, and all the neighborhood kids come out and ride their bikes and everything like that. Because, yeah, like I said, I'm that dad who kind of sits outside watching the kids play. So like everyone on the street kind of knows who I am because I'm the dad that's like watching over everyone. So yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, no, so it's been good with that, like, doing the holiday stuff and everything along those lines. And my oldest got like I said last week, the Spider Foes box. So I've still been working on painting that. I'm about halfway through the box because holidays kind of made things a little bit slower. So that's been where I've been as far as like hobbying wise. Of course, I don't think I've gotten any games in since then, but just because, holidays kind of happen and stuff like that. So how have you been? Have you been doing any hobbying or any exciting stuff like that?
I haven't got any games in either. Same reason. I mean, it's the holidays, everybody. I don't like this is how it goes. But I did do actually quite a bit of hobbying. So I continued working on tables. I finally got around to finishing the table. Well, I say finishing, but I'm gonna have to figure out some of the ladders and scatter and gantries for it, so the buildings are done. But I finally painted that like outer rim outpost idea that I've started this like 2 years ago. Never really got around to it. I finally because there was two of the buildings that like you had to put together with like 6 or 7 different pieces, and I think this was when the 3D printers were giving me trouble the first time, and then I just got into like I set those in a box, never finished it, and then went into like bulk printing mode to get us ready for LVO. So anyway, I finally got back to that. I've got this interesting color scheme of like I'm continuing the red theme, but I did just a couple of the buildings in like a deeper red, and then the rest are kind of supposed to be tan as a contrast. Again, it's supposed to be like an outer rim, not Tatooine, not. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of the village that you use as your hub in the Jedi Survivor game is like the vague idea of what I have in my head. So I've been having fun with that. I also put together, I believe, after having it explained to me by Justin and Jared, and I'm still confused. I have put together enough to have like a recon size army, which is like the 600 point Legion
Mm-hmm.
army that you play on a 3x3. I think that's what I'm gonna do next to like get some of the rules under my belt. But I have the two custom Jedi and a whole bunch of clone troopers um, that'll be my army. But anyway, I have it all assembled and I've got them all at least primered and painted white. I've got to like go back and do all the detail work. Oh, now I know. Now I understand when I hear those of you who play these other army games like 40K and Legion or whatever, the painting the same gun, go to the next one. Paint the same gun and visor. Go to the next one. Paint the same gun and visor, Todd. I don't want to paint the same gun and visor anymore.
That is when it comes to the hobbying aspect of army scale games. That is a problem that you are going to run into quite a bit. I mean, especially because I played Thousand Suns in 40K, which meant they were a blue and like mostly blue with like yellow highlights, and everything that was trim instead of edge highlighting trim, it was all gold. So it was just solid gold trim. It was awful.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
I mean,
No,
and
I
that's on
remember you telling I remember you telling that story, and I was like, "Oh, I mean, come on, it's blue with gold trim." In my head, I'm like, "This can't be that bad." No, 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 no. When you've done it, let's see, how many of these guys? I'm only halfway to one, two, three. Oh well, I know there's 7 ARF troopers, 7, 8. I've done that to 8 clone troopers, and there's still another. Got to be at least 8 to 10 more of these guys over here, and I'm like, no, no, I don't want to do it. I'm being this is not I already gave up on as this is going to look nice. No, it is literally white scar spray paint, and then I'm going in with like pro acryls titanium white and just kind of like doing a little bit of highlighting and like and some spaces just to give them like a contrast, and that's it. And then black, and then the guns and the visors just coal black, coal black, coal. I don't even care. Or maybe I might be using a matte black, but whatever. Either way, that's all I'm doing. That's all, and it's still taking forever.
That is impressive. That is very, very impressive. I mean, it is what it is. That is the joy of the whole process of painting, like I said, the army scale games and stuff like that. There's, I think that's where there's a difference between the painting that you see, because like a lot of people at some point in time they're just like, okay, I'm just going to spray paint everything, do some quick like washes and like hit a couple of other colors here and there, dry brush, send it on its way, because there's not as much detail painting that goes into it just because there's such a volume of painting. So yeah, you're diving deeper into the world of miniature gaming, Aubrey.
Uh, uh, you already said more steps that I want to do. I'm like, you know what? I don't even know. Do they need a wash? Nah, I don't think so. Do they need? No, nope. Nope. They're just gonna be white, black, move on. White, black, move on. That's already too many steps, and you described it very easy. Like, you want me to dry brush these guys? No, I don't got time for that.
There you go. I mean, like I said, there's tons of people that don't even bother painting their models they just want to play with them, so they just build and play. So I get it. But yeah, I mean that's funny. I mean, like I applaud you for branching out to a new game because like Legion does look fun. I mean, I remember when it first launched, I was kind of into it, and at that point in time, I was still, we were still playing Magic very heavily, and nobody was into like at the Magic store was into that at all. So it's just like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy into it if no one else is going to play. So kind of where we ended up with that. But it's like, hey, I mean, I'm if you get into it a little bit more, I will probably dabble because I have a little bit of the stuff there, so I would probably dabble quite a little bit into the game as well. And I guess that kind of can lead us into what we wanted to talk about with New Year's resolutions. I mean, is when we look at like what we're looking to do going into 2026. I know your big goal is you want to sit there and improve in your tournament play, right, Aubrey? Because you've talked multiple times on our podcast about not finishing well in tournaments. So I think is that a priority for you this year, Aubrey?
No. No, not particularly. That's funny, Todd. Fine. I mean, it's always nice, to be able to work on that and to put the reps in and to get prepared for an event and do well. But I'm also, I think I have a smaller, I'll give you a smaller resolution that I think's more attainable, because I'm also starting the year with a more consistent work schedule. They're switching me permanently to just working Tuesdays through Saturdays. So, which on the one hand is unfortunate because I will be working on Saturdays when most events are, but my boss has basically already said it gives me more consistent chances to do things because my boss will just swap schedules with me if I need a Saturday off. And basically she's inclined to let me do that because she gets to work Monday through Friday permanently as part of this. So basically the only time she has to work a weekend is if she's covering for me. So I actually will be able to attend more events. So my goal will be, with my new schedule and with this new ability to attend events, is I would just want to be playing Shatterpoint more consistently. And I think that will get me to better tournament results because part of the problem is that there'll be just entire weeks, not even during the holidays, where I just won't be able to get a game in. And it would be nice to at least get practice on a consistent basis, hopefully once a week going into the next year, because my schedule will allow me to attend more events and get practice games in, hopefully.
Fair enough. I think that's I think that's probably the biggest thing with getting good at any miniatures game is just reps. I mean, I know that, like, kind of going at a different tangent, but like I was just like focused on, okay, I'm going to play this one roster. I'm going to play it and play it and play it. And then as soon as you start doing that, it's like, oh, okay, this is working out a lot better. So I think that is definitely just the idea of getting the reps in is usually a pretty good idea of how to, or pretty good at working out getting all of those things done. So definitely I can understand that wanting to being able to get that consistency, being able to help. So, okay, so what really is a with all jokes aside, what is one of your resolutions that you're going to have when it comes to whatever we do in this community?
That's
a real resolution.
Real one.
Okay,
Not to play more consistently. Like that could. What did I say? That's a real resolution. Come on, Todd.
Fine, fine. All right, I'll accept. I'll accept. So yeah, I mean, for me,
So you gotta give me one now. Come on.
okay, okay. All right. So for me, let's see. I know I want to get more consistent as far as the content that we put out. And I think that's something I probably have said even last year, is wanting to get more consistent. I think we've been pretty good. I think this year I've been really good about making sure that I get everything out on YouTube, make sure we get everything out on all the different podcast platforms, all the audio only ones. I think I've been pretty good about that and hitting Wednesday pretty consistently on the release dates. I think I want to step that up a little bit more as far as the bonus content, though. We started hitting a pretty good stride the last couple weeks with that, with getting some of those bonus episodes out. I've done the work for this week's one, and I want to continue to kind of ride that wave that we've been on of getting the everything out. Like the bonus stuff hasn't been consistent on what day it goes out, but at least it's been going out every week for the last couple of weeks. And I want to just kind of maintain that consistency. Like I feel like I'm starting to build that habit with getting all of the episodes out and doing the bonus content. So I want to continue to just keep that ball rolling, and with that. So that's kind of my first one. I think that's sort of the big one that's been in my head of where like things I want to improve on.
Yeah, and that's an us thing because like I had taken over writing the articles of the unit breakdowns, and just the past couple of months, oof, time wise has been rough. So yeah, we definitely can. That's a good one. I agree. You are allowed that resolution, Todd.
Oh, fair enough. Yay! I win one. So what about you? What's another
That's
one that
funny.
you got?
I this is I feel like this shouldn't be a resolution, but it is a resolution because I feel like this is just every hobbyist in this game. But I would like to work on improving my consistency in my painting. So, like, I am getting better. I am getting better with like color theory and color matching and getting things to look roughly the way I want. And I did delve a little bit into basing and some of those techniques, and I'd like to keep working on that. But it feels sometimes when I sit down at the table, and this may be the ADHD, pigeon in my head, but I have to be like, okay, what did I do to this model last time? Because I only got halfway through and I need to get these colors to kind of match each other. And if I didn't write it down, and I'm supposed to write them down, do I do it consistently? No. If I didn't like take notes, I don't I don't remember it all. So I just would like to work on my consistency because sometimes I will start something and then it will get away from me. Oh, like with these clones, like I started out like at first my highlighting was kind of, it was pretty neat, pretty, decent, okay. And then as I was going along, I'm like, oh, I'm getting kind of messier. I'm not really trying as hard. Like, and maybe that's a bad example, but that's kind of my point is that like I wasn't able to just cleanly go, all right, boom, 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 boom through this whole stack.
So is that more of like an Aubrey losing focus as he gets like into his fifth clone trooper in a row that he's been painting, and it just like
Yeah, that might be a bad example. But either way, I'm gonna try and work on this because I wanna start doing a little bit more themes like with my basing and I kind of want to branch out into like doing more detail work with the terrain because every famously if you don't know, dear listeners, we just do rattle can like quick one layer, two layer, and that's a lot of the like very colorful terrain that we do, and then maybe we go back over and do some quick highlights. But I would like to work on improving like doing that kind of detail work because like looking at the outer rim outpost table I'm going through, the terrain looks great, the single color looks great, But if I'm not just gonna do a quick second layer of rattle can, I was looking at it and like every single piece of terrain has like a dozen or more little detail points that need to be like hand painted in. Like no airbrush, no none of that. And I'm like, okay, am I prepared for this? Like one of the buildings has a bunch of like cracks and damage in it, like it's already been attacked. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do shadowing like on every single one of those damage points. There's like probably 40 of them on there, Todd. So, uh, so that's kind of my next my next thing is the level up, I guess, in all of the painting.
Fair enough. I think that's probably so. When I look at like painting for my where I would like to sit there and maybe a resolution, and this is something I've struggled with as a painter is like really taking my highlights and putting more emphasis into them. I go with very subtle highlights when I'm painting, and I think that's probably when you look at like the high end painters or they really just kind of up those highlights more and more and really push their highlights to higher levels. And I think I hold back on that quite a bit on pushing my highlights. And that's something I kind of want to overcome this year is like that's something I want to work on is kind of like really pushing my highlight work when doing my paintings to try and kind of up that level of painting that I do. That I think that's where I want to kind of go with my painting. I've gotten to a point where I feel like I'm doing like the little detail work and stuff like that is good, but I'm just like I said, I haven't really been pushing those highlights, and I think that's something I really need to work on doing. So that's going to be kind of where I go this next year on my painting is how can I really take my highlighting to the next level.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right.
And you
All
know,
right.
and the nice thing is I did get a 3D printer for Christmas, so now I can print off stuff and just work on that and not worry about, how bad that looks for stuff that I didn't paint. Yeah, because my wife ended up giving me a nice little beginner level at any cubic resin printers, and that which was kind of nice. So and Justin basically confirmed that is one of his top ones and stuff like that. So I feel better knowing that he gives his stamp of approval on that. So that's
there,
definitely
there you
I was
go. There
excited
you
about
go.
that one. Yeah.
Hey, we're all excited about this, Todd, because I am looking forward to hearing how it goes, your tales of triumph, your tales of woe, because this will be an experience. I know nothing about resin printing, so you get to talk to Purist of Christopher's about this one. I
Yes.
don't know, or I guess Justin. Either one of they both do it. So, oh boy.
Exactly. Yes. At least they're brothers, and I can kind of try and get them in the same place at the same time, going, what do I do? So,
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's all right. If you need to test it out, I already got a project for you because I still need my Cal Kestis proxy. Just saying. Twist my arm. I
fair
can
enough.
help you
Fair enough.
test it out.
Oh, thank goodness I have you for that, Aubrey. I will have to look for that though. Let me see if I can find a nice Calcesta STL for you. So who are you? Okay, so going on a little bit of a tangent, since I'm going to be looking and printing a Calcestis one for you. Who would Calcestis be standing in for? Or would you make a separate card for Calcestis, or would you like say, okay, no, I'm going to use Ezra, but it's going to be the Calcestis model?
Oh no, I thought we
I don't
talked about the.
remember.
Oh, maybe we didn't. Come on, Todd. You don't remember something I've said? I'm shocked. I I don't know that I'm going to remember these New Year's resolutions after we're done recording this episode. Anyway, uh, it would be so. What I was thinking is he could be a stand-in for Fifth Brother. Remember, one of the
That's
lists I
right.
was going to try out with Cassian. It was going to be like was it Mando Dengar Fifth Brother, and I was being grumpy with Omnis because I was like, Fifth Brother isn't a rebel. After he specifically asked me, he was like, can it be off flavor a little bit? And I was like, well, you send me the list and we'll see. And then I was immediately like, no. But so like Fifth Brother, could be a cool stand-in. Basically, that's that was like really my only idea for it. It was more just I want to practice some more painting, and you know, I'm trying to work on. I did accomplish my goal of getting better at painting faces. They're still the eyes are still a little goofy, but they're getting better. They're getting better.
To be fair, that's everyone though, man. Like eyes are like that one thing that people always struggle with. So if that's one of the things you're struggling with, you're not alone, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. Huh.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, okay, I don't even know. Is it back to me? Is it or is it as far as resolutions, or are we back? Or on you again? I can go. I'll
Let's
go.
see. I did two. I think you did
I've done
two.
two. So it's back to you
Oh,
because
it's
we
back to
started
me
with
again.
you.
Okay. Tangents. The pigeons slowly taking over. All right. Let's see. What would be? What would be? Oh, okay. Well, see, I said this last year, and I still haven't done it, but it's still on my queue. It's still on my queue. Is I would like to learn some more about 3D modeling so that I can start actually designing the tables. Because it's always hard with like 3D printing because people are always asking me, well, man, you got these printers. Are you like starting a business or anything? And I'm like, no, not really, because you have to pay a ton of like licensing fees for a lot of the if you're going to sell. Like most licenses for STLs are just for like your own personal use. Like you can print something for yourself and that's it. You definitely shouldn't be selling them. So it gets complicated because like there's also Creative Commons like free files and things out there. But it would be cool to design my own table, but I don't know how to do that. Like I don't have the knowledge to do that. So that's something that's still on my to do list. We'll see if I get to it this year because it was on my to do list this year and that didn't and that didn't really happen.
Didn't work out for you. Okay. I know for me, when it comes to the one of the things that I wanted to focus on is improving the live streaming that we do. I know that, and this I guess can be coupled with, man, I really need to get better about editing and getting the videos out because I've done a lot of recording and have not edited and put those out. But well, that can be number two, but I really do want to improve kind of what we're doing as far as the live stream, getting the content to be a little smoother, and be a little more organized with all of that. I've started like, okay, I'm going to start bagging things in proper bags and have that so I can just sit there and have everything in a spot. Kind of, I guess, taking the more military approach to preparation for the streaming, and working on that. I really want to have the final product that people see on the back end get a little cleaner, a little sharper, and I think that's where I'm going. I've been working when I can on getting maybe some better overlays, especially for like Adepticon, trying to get those kind of done. But man, that's a lot of work doing like just a lot of the little stuff and everything like that. So that's kind of where I've been, is trying to sit there and find ways to sit there and get that end product that is seen during streams a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. I know, I think this year alone will probably be like, especially Adepticon will probably be a little bit cleaner because the crew we've kind of, we have the consistent crew. It should be Jake and Izzy should be coming back with us again, to really kind of help like flesh out what we're doing. And I think that, yes, last year being their first year, there was a little bit of a learning curve and everything going on there. And I think now that they've been there 1 year and kind of experienced and really got an idea of what's going on and what we're doing, I think this year will be even better than last year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Some of this is just more experience, and also we're doing this stuff ourselves. Like a lot of people, a lot of people will like hire editors or hire people to do overlays or these sorts of things, and we're like, no, we spent all of that money on more equipment for the streaming, so it's It's us figuring things out.
Right, right. Yeah, better microphones, better stands, improving a camera or two, getting more. Yeah, just like that type of stuff. And that starts to add up. I mean, when you like, especially like microphones, man, a good mic is still like 80 to $100, if not more. So, improving, and I think that alone is something good when you can improve like audio quality because people are listening to us talk for multiple hours. I mean, it's going to be 8+ hours a day for 4 days straight.
Hmm.
So improving audio quality probably is a big thing that needs to be done and everything along those lines. So that's kind of where where that goes. Where we're not bringing in tons and tons of money or anything like that with this. There's no real ad revenue or anything. So we basically just want to make sure that we're getting the best we can for what we can afford to do.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't even want to talk about. Todd, I've already gone through like half of the filament that I ordered at Thanksgiving because of all of the tables and things, man. But we're definitely over 32 again. Once I get this box over to you, I really got to get that box to you at some point anyway, because there's like enough stuff there to expand out all the fractured city. There's the rest of that generator room table, but I gotta update the tracker. Ooh, sorry. Now you got me thinking. You got me thinking about LVO. It's not till October.
Yes, we at least have 10 months before LVO. We have a full year from when the last one happened, so that's nice. And I guess, okay, so to kind of expand, I guess, a little bit on streaming content, another caveat to that is I do want to add on a couple of events. I've already talked with Frontline Gaming about doing Rocky Mountain Open. I would like to add maybe another event so that we're streaming like at least 4 events in 2026. Because like basically last year we did two. We did Adepticon and we did LVO. I would like to add on like two events at least to make it a nice 4 event thing, maybe, and then maybe kind of expand from there the year after. But see where this goes this year. Like I'd like to maybe, I think looking at scheduling and everything along those lines, I think the Lone Star Open looks like a one that might be worthwhile. Gonna have to talk to Frontline about that as well. But like scheduling wise, there's enough time in between those events where I don't think I'd get in too much trouble with my wife by going and doing those two.
Yeah, this is definitely a Todd one because I'm like, I don't have any more vacation because I keep having to start my job over every 5 years. I can't get any seniority anywhere. Uh,
Fair enough. Yeah, and I mean, and for me, like I've been with the federal government for 20 years, so I carry over 240 hours of leave every year. So like, it's not a big deal for me to sit there and have leave and stuff like that. Plus, most events are Saturday, Sunday. I work 410, so I have Fridays off, so I can travel Friday and get there and work Saturday,
yeah.
Sunday, and okay, maybe I take a Monday off to sit there and travel back or something. So, yeah, but we'll see how it all goes. I think that's kind of where I'm going is wanting to up the streaming game a little bit this year, if at all possible. All right, Aubrey, back to you. What do you got?
I don't know that I have any more, Todd. I think
No.
like I mean that's three. That's three. I'm trying to think what else. Well, I mean, I'm already planning on doing this, so I don't know how much of a resolution it is, but I do want to get a grip, a better comprehension of the Legion rules because right now it still feels very opaque to me. So, and I have I've spent enough time. I've put together like that a recon squad at least. Like now I want to like put them on the table. So I've got to make sure I schedule some time. Justin's already like, well, I got 2 games under my belt. We can go, we can try and muddle our way through the rules together. And I'm like, all right, sure.
Well, there's been a lot of people in the Shatterpoint group that meet up at Gamers Guild that have actually bought the starter sets. So there's like 4 or 5 people that have the starter sets now that are actually getting into Legion as well. So I think finding people to kind of learn and build the community with and can definitely help. But there's also quite a few people that will be around just that also play. I know like Tate from the Shatterpoint or from the MCP community. He plays a lot of Legion. Tazi plays a lot of Legion from the MCP community. So there's a lot of like crossover within those AMG games to begin with. So finding people to help out isn't going to be too bad. And there's another person locally that runs a lot of the Shatterpoint, or I'm sorry, the Legion stuff locally, that is probably more than willing to sit there and meet up and have games. He's actually going to be running Legion at Smite Club and at Scorched Earth. So, and I've been working with him with trying to get Smite to be a AMG GT for all three events. Under kind of, I just applied for all three.
Yeah.
With Tristan being the individual that would be actually running the Legion stuff. But yeah, we'll see. And he has a lot of experience running Legion stuff. So we'll see how that all plays out and how that goes. So it's yeah, because I'm assuming probably by beginning of next year we're gonna start hearing back on the individuals that get the Legion or they get the GTS from AMG. So that'll be interesting to see kind of where that goes. I'm hoping maybe a couple more places will get some more GTS and stuff like that, because I know a lot of people are always wanting to get those, and there is limited space for those, of course. So we'll see how that all plays out. But that I can definitely see wanting to get some rule sets down. And I know we've talked about this on other. I talked about this when I was on Rogue Support with kind of having that palette cleanse of a game and having a different game to go to and everything along those lines. And you don't really have that. And I think that does help. I know like with me, sometimes just going and playing a game of MCP really does kind of help reinvigorate when you do come back and play a couple games of Shatterpoint and stuff like that. So you can't just be hyper focused on one. I guess you can be hyper focused on one thing. That's those, if you're going to be super, super competitive with it. But I think having options definitely kind of helps too.
Yeah, that was my hope. So, all right, Todd, you got another one?
I kind of do. So, I mean, I did talk about, like wanting to improve like the streaming stuff. And like I said, that kind of also leads into wanting to get better about doing the editing and getting more other content up for like not just the podcast, but other content on YouTube. And I think that, like I said, there's a struggle with that of like, there's only so many hours in the day to sit there and get stuff done between the painting that we do to run events, putting stuff together, editing, recording, and then like creating the content that goes up. So I would like to sit there and expand to sit there and probably do like maybe some battle reports and stuff like that. But man, when will I get the time? I think part of that goes like, I think that does go hand in hand with the streaming side of it, of getting a consistent, easy setup for recording, and something that can easily be duplicated so that I can just do easy, quick battle reports and stuff along those lines. Part of my problem is like I don't want to just do the overhead view, because that gets pretty boring, I feel like, to look at, and I want to be able to do it a little more dynamically. And that's where I think like my desire to have a dynamic podcast or a battle report kind of adds to that. Well, that means there's going to be another that's going to add 3 times as long to the editing process. So is this internal struggle that I have going on with wanting to sit there and do the content, but do it in a very dynamic way.
Again, if only one of us was actually a video editor, because I mean that's why people hire editors, because I feel it, because it would take. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It is. And I think that's the biggest issue I think is that I run into is like, man, I want to do this really cool thing, and this really cool thing is very difficult to do. So that's I think as far as like the resolutions, so to speak, of what I want to do. But I mean, I think there's always this like little things that I think we want to improve on too, not just, I want to make a big deal about making this a big resolution, but I think just like overall improvement. I mean, like we, in the events that we run, we always want to get better. I mean, and that's I think something where the continuing improvement of running events, I think, is something that like you and I work on, like getting better tables, getting better terrain and being more consistent and stuff along those lines. I mean, like I said, wouldn't say that's necessarily a resolution. That's just an ongoing project that like you and I have had with like the events that we run. I mean, is there something like you think that we would should focus on running? Because I mean, like we run what, 3 events a year pretty much between Scorched Earth, Smite Club Open, and Las Vegas Open. We run 3 events. So I mean, is there something that like you jumps out at you as like, here's where I want to improve on the event running side of things?
Well, I think we did a much better job of communicating to players. I don't know. I like the only thing is like I feel like I just need to be more prepared for like the government having issues, I suppose, because like that was the main stressor. But even then, I mean, people jumped in, they helped out, like it ended up going well. I just know like people were like, are you okay, Aubrey? I must look like my head was about to pop off by the end of the weekend, and I'm like, I'm fine, it's all right. So I don't know, I have a New Year's resolution to handle unexpected stressors in a better way.
The
I
nice the nice thing going that we have is going into this year, VA is fully funded through the fiscal year. So unfortunately, the fiscal year ends October 1st, which is when LVO happens.
Yes. No. I know how this works, Todd. You don't get to pretend like no. Oh, it's funded through the fiscal year. The fiscal year that ends on September 30th.
So, but the nice thing is because I don't like no one really knew about this one, but there was a potential shutdown right when Adepticon was going to be happening this year in 2025. And because of that, like there was one of those things where like we didn't know how that was going to work out. So at least we don't have the stress of, oh, well, we don't know like what's going to happen around Adepticon. We don't know what's going to happen around the Smite clubs. Smite clubs aren't that big of a deal because they're only 2-day events and they're Saturday, Sunday. So that's not a big deal. Anyway, but like the preparation leading up to it isn't going to be impacted or anything along those lines. So
Yeah. So no, I don't. I agree with you. You always want to be looking at ways to improve, and I mean, let's be real. We're both very much amateurs when it comes to a lot of this behind the scenes stuff. Like I did very basic video editing for my job. Nothing fancy, nothing like you're describing, and we're just doing our best over here, trying to figure all of this out a little bit at a time.
yeah, I mean, to be fair, is like like I said, like the podcast was one of those things where I'm like, I want to talk about this game and do a podcast. That sounds fun. And that turned into, Tim from Professional Casual going, hey, do you want to try doing commentary at Adepticon? Sure, why not? Let's see what happens. And now we're looking at potentially
Yep.
the 3rd year in a row of going to Adepticon and doing commentary again. So it's one of those where we didn't have any experience doing any of the things that we're doing, and it's just kind of built its way into doing what we're doing now. So it's really kind of strange. I mean, it's funny. I ran into this was a couple months back, but there was a guy. His name was Joe. He used to work at Imperial Outpost, and he looked at me. He's like, "Did you ever think that this would be where you were when you started your podcast?" I'm like, I have no. I mean, I honestly thought it was like I'd be talking into the void, and maybe a couple people would listen. I had no idea that this would turn into okay. I'm running LVO, and we're live streaming at the World Championships, and oh yeah, we're doing this, that, and the other. It's kind of surprising that over the last 3 years that this is kind of where we've ended up and everything along those lines. So it's 2.5, 3 years and of this, and this is where we are with the podcast now. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, I did not know what I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting anything. I was just like, oh yeah, let's do this, see where it goes. hanging out with Todd and talking about Star Wars is something that I would do anyway. Like, I mean, that's like you don't have to twist my arm to get me to do that. Like that's already a thing that was happening. Now you just want me to have it be recorded while I'm doing it. All right, let's go from there.
Yeah, and it kind of just ballooned from there, which is interesting. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy it. I mean, we've met so many cool people, between, on the Discord or, going to different conventions, be it Adepticon, be it LVO, be it, Smite Club locally. There's just been so many cool people, so many cool things that we've gotten to do just because of the podcast, and which has been, outstanding. I'm pretty excited about it, to be 100% honest. So yeah, super excited, super happy. I don't know. Does there any other things that like kind of jump out at you of like I said, maybe not like, oh, this is a resolution where, because resolutions have that connotation to it of like, this is a big shift that you're going to make, but maybe just like, here's a little thing that I want to improve upon going forward into the next year type of a thing.
Ooh, just let's see, just one little thing. Do, 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 do.
Like I said, I mean, like it could be as simple as like learning a new technique in painting. Like I know that you're, like here's a technique that I want to learn because it looks interesting. Like a big one be like, say for example, non-metallic metal, which I'm not going to encourage you to do anytime soon because that's a lot.
I don't know if it's gonna be a paint thing. Just a small thing. I guess I want to work on. This is gonna sound funny. I want to do some more practice with like the first couple of turns of a game, like because I've been running into a lot of situations where, depending on how the buildings are or which objective we're on, or insert scenario here, I have been having a lot of those moments where I'm like, I am just outside of contesting an objective when, like, say you're doing something non-standard, like you're having to like send a primary from one side of the table to the other side of the table because of how the objectives flipped over. So I guess the one thing would be like recognizing better on all, because ever since we've gotten more missions, I haven't like paid as close attention to like the layouts and the flop and what you can get on the missions. So I think that's something I think I want to focus on is like the first couple of turns of the game, like
So
like just making sure you know where the objectives can land and what your worst case scenario is with a list, and like what's actually possible with like an advance and a take cover and a dash, because that's usually your about what you get, that kind of thing, but from like non-standard way, not when like, oh cool, the objective's right there, I hit an ingress point, I'm automatically up there, fine. I mean more of like the, you drew like the wrong support after reserving or whatever, and now you're trying to send them on like a weird trip over here because you have no choice. That makes sense. It's very specific, but
it does. I mean, so I guess to follow up, I mean, would you want to sit there and start doing like some shadow boxing at home? Like you set up a table with like terrain and actually set up like, and just go through the first couple of activations on like one side of like, here's where I want to get to type of a thing.
yeah, this is more of a solo project thing because I just want to take one of the marked mats, because I have one that I think now. Oh no, I don't have the one with first contact because apparently it disappeared. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, but this is the idea. Is that basically I would just do some shadow boxing, go through the first turns, reset, go through the first turns, reset. So this is one that's at least very straightforward. I can hold myself accountable to this one because it's all on me. If I don't if I don't set up the table with the terrain and actually go through some of the mission cards and do that, that's on me.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's definitely very good for play, to just get those reps down, especially like even for like players. I think like one of the good ways to do that is when, especially when you're looking at boss, because like boss has a very specific open, like practicing his open, just okay, I pull boss here, or I pull this character here in a boss list, and practicing opening the most ideal open, and maybe not practicing like the least ideal open that you can have, and how to play those, and how to maneuver around at different points and stuff like that. Of course, there is going to be a little bit of off a little bit of conflict between how your opponent would actually interact with their activations and everything like that, but you can at least get the reps down of like how to move your characters. And honestly, I think for me, like knowing ranges from playing MCP for 6 years, I can easily see, oh yeah, that's range 2, oh yeah, that's range 4, oh yeah, that's, range 5. I can judge
Right.
ranges very easily. But someone who has only picked up this game for maybe the last 6 months, they don't see that as clearly, and I think that helps. Like doing the shadow boxing can definitely help with getting that optical version of seeing things down a little bit better too. So I definitely see that maybe doing some shadow boxing to kind of help get some of those skills down for just your general play is worthwhile for sure.
Yeah, and what I may do if I have the time, even though, because again, we're just talking about doing the first couple of turns and then switching to a different objective set and then doing it again, kind of thing. Um, what I might do is actually set up a squad across from me and actually at least play out their first turn, because that's twice as much practice on, like, I set up a table, now I'm playing both sides of the table. I can get twice as much practice on like what would be a good starting move with this opposing squad. But then that also would at least this is getting a little more involved. But you get my point. I can
Yes.
make it make sense, and that would give me I guess I could just take my premiere. Yeah, I could just take my premiere list and
Mm-hmm.
fight it against itself. That's
Yeah.
all right. Okay, all right. We'll check back in on this idea. We'll check back in.
Yes.
You have another one, Todd?
Maybe. Well, you know what? I was looking through Discord kind of as well, and I noticed that this is the last Sunday of the month, so Mr. Ease is having their event. I have yet to make it to a Mr. Ease event. So I did not go to a single Mr. Ease event. I think that's going to be a New Year's resolution for me, is to get to a Mr. Ease event down in Maricopa, because we do have listeners down there, and they do come down to events down in the valley. I would really love to sit there and get up there and actually go to the store and get to there. So that's going to be, I guess, my last one. Is definitely want to get out and visit a few more stores and get to a few more events. Granted, that is about an hour drive from the house and everything along those lines. So it does take a little bit more time out of the day, and they start late. I think they start at like 2 o'clock or something like that, which is wild to me. But yeah, but I still I want to get out there, and I want to get to a couple more local-ish events. And even to the point where like I would love to go down to Tucson maybe a couple times more. And I don't know if they run a lot of Shatterpoint events, but I know they do run some MCP stuff too. So like getting down to Tucson a little bit more often and running and getting involved in some events down there, I think would be really fun too, just to kind of expand outside of the normal community, the normal small community that we have locally. Which I know,
Small small
I say
community.
law. I know I say small when it's like,
Wow.
yeah, which is like our small 20 to plus people that we have playing in our community is like, yeah, when you have people that like are lucky to get 8. So I shouldn't say small.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Aren't we closer to 30 now? Like, I think
We
we have
probably,
about 30 regulars when you look at the whole
yeah,
valley. Like,
yeah.
man.
But yeah, so it'd be nice to kind of get out and about. So other than that, I mean, that's kind of like, where I want, like, kind of things that we want to do for the year. I don't know. Any last minute things that jumped into your head, Aubrey?
No, just that. I mean, again, last episode of the year. I was when we were talking about ideas for this episode. I was thinking about like looking back at the year in Shatterpoint, but we've already been talking for a whole hour, so we don't even we don't even need to delve into that. But the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking about looking back at the year in Shatterpoint, you know, one of my favorite things that happened this year was like the meetup at Adepticon where we had the different podcast groups all come together and just hang out, and we talked Star Wars, we talked Shatterpoint, Lauren gaming all the way down. And that was probably one of my favorite things that happened
Yes,
in
absolutely.
the whole year of Shatterpoint. Even all the cool people we met at Second LVO, meeting Sin, etc. But like just that one event where a bunch of people came together as part of this community, that was really cool. So I'm
Definitely. I
happy
mean, and two
that.
additional podcasts came out of that group. I mean, it was only Rogue
Right,
Support
right.
and Momentous Struggle, and then all of a sudden, Coordinated Fire came from there. The Chosen One came from there. It was just like so cool that like at the end of the year, that meetup had 4 different podcasts just hanging out, talking Shatterpoint, talking Star Wars. So like I'm right there with you. I think that was the highlight of my year as well. I really hope that we're able to pull off a really cool meetup like that again at this year's Adepticon.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, I mean, we might be getting a few more people from overseas, so fingers crossed there, hopefully. And then uh yeah. No, I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Quincy can make it. I mean, like, not to put him on the spot on the podcast or anything like that, but like that, I think would be a highlight if he was able to show up, because like he's been a supporter of us from like day one. You know, like he was
Right?
on watching us every year at the first Adepticon that we were at.
Mhm.
Definitely was there last year, like all year long. So if he was able to make it, I would be ecstatic. So that's here's hoping that he can make his way out to Adepticon
Fingers
this year.
crossed.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that about finishes it up for us. As always, want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in and listening to us, spending an hour of your week with us, listening to the ramblings of a pigeon and a giant ogre like myself. We appreciate you doing that. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is to become a patron. You can do so on the link that will be in the description below for as little as $1 a month. That is not always for everyone, and we definitely understand that. You can also support us by rating, reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on, and leaving a review. 5-star reviews are the best. If you want to go ahead and leave us a review, or you can subscribe if you're watching us on the YouTubes, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. By all means, definitely do that. You should be checking out the last podcast we did on the YouTube, and maybe leaving a comment if you're going to Adepticon. Just putting that out there, because that might be beneficial
Mhm.
for you. But other than that, as always, again, I want to thank everyone for listening. And as always, keep your resolutions logical.
May the force be with you. No.